Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. Baby, we're back. We are back. Welcome to the Q with Q podcast. For those that are watching on YouTube, but for those that are listening audio, welcome back. Welcome back to me too. Baby, it's been a long time, a long periodically time. I hope y'all get that reference since I've been down here. And I am ecstatic because we are entering in the political season, darling. So we are entering into the 2024 presidential election, which y'all know is a big thing. You know, we always advocate for voting on the state and local level, but we cannot deny that this is the grand poobah, the grand dame of all elections. It's the presidential, and people get the most excited for it. So I'm excited. And I wanted to come and say and talk to you and encourage you about getting active. I wanted to encourage you to get active. Where are my words? To get active in the political process. And so I have 8 steps. Okay, we have 8 steps of how we're going to get engaged. Okay, how we're going to get engaged politically that are very tangible, that are very practical for us to get engaged so that elections will start going the way in which we think they need to go. And we know which way they need to go, okay? Don't play with me today. All right, so number 8 in the way in which we can get active and get other people active, is to promote civic education. Promote civic education. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is we need you, because if you're listening, if you're watching right now, you are a person that is politically engaged, right? You want to know the goings on, and you come here for me to give you the things that are happening, right? To break it down and make it plain. However, not everybody does that. And I'm not saying that everybody has to come to me. It'd be great, but that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you are a person that wants to know what's going on. Sure, you're entertained, but you want to know what's going on because you care about what your tax dollars are doing. Come on. Somebody cares about what their tax dollars are doing. If you care about what your tax dollars are doing, baby, I need you to put this in the chat if you're watching. Tax dollars. Tax dollars. And if you're in the car, tell your churn. Make sure you're being safe. Don't take your eyes off the road, but tell your churn, baby, I care about where my tax dollars go, and explain to them what that is. But we need to be promoting civic education because it is the way in which our democracy, republic, but our democracy works. And so if people do not understand the fundamentals of civics, do not understand how a bill becomes a law, come on, Schoolhouse Rock somebody, do not understand that, yes, the president is the person at the top, but there are certain things that they cannot do without Congress, right? Yes, we have a Supreme Court that is right because they're last, not right because they are the Supreme Court, and that they get the final say of the law of the land. If they don't understand how these things work and that that's a lifetime appointment and that the president nominates and senators vote on them. So it's important for you to be voting for your senator even on an off-year election when the president is not running, because that person could determine a vote to a person who will be in a lifetime position, that is the Supreme Court. If we don't know those things, and those are very big things, very granular things, but if we don't know how the mechanics and the specifics work, how then do we expect for the system to work for us when we know originally it wasn't designed for the majority of us? Okay, we're looking at you, founders. We're looking at you. Number 7, civic dialogue. So it's one thing to let people know how it works. It's another thing to start having conversations about what's going on and how civics matters to people. What do I mean by that? It's one thing. I enjoy a privilege in that when you come and listen to me, again, you're a person that wants to be here, right? You are a person that wants to know what's going on. You probably vote. Most likely you do. Majority of my audience is women. Shout out to the women. Amen. But the women, they holding that thing down. Period, poo. But you're a person that is involved already, right? And maybe even in a bit of an echo chamber, because I'm probably not saying anything that will, for the most part, not being different from what you already think. I may have a different spin, but for the most part, we probably agree on a lot of things, right? And not to say that I'm creating content just to agree and just to have an audience, because I'm going to say what I say and say how I feel. But we probably already do that. But if we increase our civic dialogue, so think of it as, we going down to the barbecue, we going down to our mom and them house. We finna hang out with our cousin. Maybe you're hanging out with your boo thing, okay? For the singles. Well, for the married folk too, because my wife my boo thing. But maybe you're hanging out with your boo thing, right? We want to increase conversation with others about what is going on, not just the political aspect of it, but the civic aspect of it. Talk about the census and how that money, how when we count for the census, Congress uses that to appropriate funds for cities that pays for hospitals, roads, bridges. We saw the bridge calamity the other day, right? Or not too long ago. But the roads that we drive on. Talk about why it's important. Why do you think it's important? And then ask the other person, do you think that's something that's important? And please remember to come from a place of respect and to meet them where they are. Don't bash people just because they don't know the things, right? Think about it from being on the other side of that. It's not a fun place to be. But engage people civically. Have these civic conversations in your normal day of conversation, which then I think will ultimately boost civic participation and increase people's care about what's going on in our country outside of just the political divisiveness stuff, right? And if I'm looking down for my people watching on the YouTubes and whatnot, I'm looking down because I'm looking at my notes. Number 6. Join boards or committees, right? Consider joining advisory boards that share common causes that you care about. Neighborhood associations or committees that make decisions that impact your community. Baby, let me tell you this. I promise you, whenever me and V buy a house, I'm going down to the HOA. I'll be down there to the HOA because I heard how that HOA cuts up. So I shall be on the board, whatever neighborhood we end up in. Baby, I'm running. I don't know how y'all pick the people, but I'm going to be down there. I'm down there immediately. Something that will also impact my world is my kids' school. So I'll be down to the PTA, okay? That's something that's impacted me locally. And I really want to find a board or I really want to find an organization centered around environmental justice and Black people, because what we know is what we know, and that Black people are disproportionately affected by climate change, particularly because businesses have put in these demonstrable plants, chemical plants in our neighborhoods. Like I live in Houston, Texas. There is an entire cancer cluster in our 5th ward because of tainted water that has spilled from these plants into these people's neighborhoods, right? So I would really love to find an organization that is all about environmental justice, climate change, but it is centered around the Black perspective. That doesn't mean that you all have to go do that, because I got plenty of people, Africa Americas that watch me, Caucasia Americas that watch me, Asia Americas that watch me, Latin Americas that watch me, Spanish American, like all the people. Hey, come on in. I'm just talking about a board that I want to be a part of. Number 5, okay? We've already done 8 through 6. Now we're on number 5. Number 5, you can support causes and organizations that align with your values through donations, fundraising, or volunteering your time and your skills, particularly in the nonprofit sector. I have worked with many nonprofits over the last, 4 years? How long have I been creating content? Since 2019? Well, no, it popped in 2019. I think I started in 18. Anyway, for the last 4 or so years, I've been working with various nonprofits, whether it be the Brennan Center, right? In their advocacy of letting people know these research studies that they've done to show the disproportionate impacts of certain laws or certain policies that have taken place. So find you organizations that speak to causes that you care about, that I would also say that in some way care about the common and public good too, right? So what crossed my mind when I was thinking about that, the reason I just said that last piece is because I don't want to say, join a Save the Dogs organization, which is fine. Save the dogs. I have a dog. However, if I didn't have a dog, I don't know that would impact me in a certain way. And I know, don't bite my head off, baby. I ain't no Christy Nome. I ain't talking about pow and the dog in their face. I'm not talking about that. What I'm saying is the way in which I view an animal is not the same way in which I view human life. Yes, Lovey, our Clumberdoodle, is a part of our family. Yes, I would be sad if something happened to her. It would not be the same way if one of my family members, people, pass, right? So when I say support causes, sure, support the animals, all the things, but support causes that also impact the greater good. And yes, maybe animals impact the greater good in a mental health aspect. So I'm not taking that away. But y'all know what I'm trying to say. Okay. Number 4, baby, education. Okay. Stay informed about current events. You know, that's what I do. I tell you about the current events. Stay informed about current events, public policy, and social issues, right? Let's start attending some workshops, some seminars or lectures to deepen our understanding on the issues at hand. So yes, you come here and I give you the things, but baby, I can't be all things and be in all places at all times. There are so many different things, and there are so many great dope creators that are covering many different aspects of our political life, our civic life, our socioeconomic life, our cultural life, us just living on the globe, that you can tap into so that you can learn more. And of course, doing your own research. Just don't take what people saying just for the sake of them saying it, because it's real easy to lie on these interwebs. Very, very easy to lie on Cicely Tyson internet. Very easy. So, but you want to support causes. You want to support people that are doing the work, organizations that's doing the work as well. Are you noticing a theme in my steps? It takes activity. It takes engagement. It takes action. Yeah. Okay. Number 3. We in our top 3. Number 3, advocacy. It's huge. Speak out on issues that matter to you by connecting elected officials, attending town hall meetings, or participating in public demonstrations. Now, the public demonstrations thing, is real testy right now. It's real testy. The people calling the cops on folks. Real testy. Be ye not discouraged in that public demonstration of protest. It is one of our rights. It is a basic fundamental freedom. You just want to be wise and smart about when and where you go out and publicly protest, right? What organizations you are aligning yourself with. If they speak to you and that's what you support, go on out there. Go on out there. Be ready for pushback, right? Be smart, be wise, be safe when you do those things. But one of the more safer things you can do is speak. I talk all day. All day. I used to get in trouble as a child, okay? As a child for talking too much. And look at me now. I talk all day for a living. Go figure. I talk to y'all during the day or throughout the day, but I'm also a therapist in real life. And so I talk to people about their issues. I'm always talking. I'm on the TV talking. I'm over here talking. Talk. Don't let the people silence you. Don't let people take your voice, right? Especially for causes in which you support, especially if it's causes surrounding saving our democracy and not having a dictator. Especially if it's the equity of the underserved, the unhoused, and the unprivileged. Particularly those, the least of us. What good does it do to be one of the most powerful societies, powerful nations in the world, and yet we treat the least of us like crap? Now, I'm not saying I do it or you do it, but I'm saying the collective we Americans, America, these United States. It makes no sense to me. So advocacy, people. Number 2, community involvement. Okay? Community involvement. Get involved in community organizations, volunteer groups, or local initiatives that address issues that you care about. Now, that is very similar? Not similar. That is very similar to joining boards and committees, right? But specifically joining community organizations, right? So people that are on the ground, volunteer groups. My mom hit me up yesterday. Actually, my mom hit me up yesterday because some of her and her church ladies that she hangs out with, they want to volunteer at a local hospital. So I got them, in touch with a hospital so that they can go volunteer, right? They have a passion for that. They want to do something, help people in a particular state. Obviously, if you're in a hospital, that means you're sick, you're hurt, damaged in some type of way. It's a very vulnerable position to be in, very stressful position to be in. And I used to work in a hospital as a social worker. Baby, you don't get no rest. We coming in and out your door all day long. Okay, if the doctor coming, the nurse coming, here, me, the social worker coming, the tech coming, the people that's bringing the food coming, the sanitation engineers, they coming, everybody coming. CEO coming, looking at the building, looking at the walls, do we need to paint? Everybody's coming in the door all times of the day. Anyway, the point is, because I went off on a tangent, the point is, get involved in your community, right? What are people doing in the space in which you dwell? What are they doing to improve the community, to ensure that the community is safe? Not over policing, not racially discriminating, but what are they doing to ensure that the community is safe? Join some of those organizations. People need you. A lot of times, I think that people think that there are enough people in the space to do the work in these nonprofits, in these community organizations, on these boards, the things, and it's really not. I think a lot of people think that, so a lot of people don't show up and a lot of people don't do. But there are so many of us here. So many of us here. Imagine if just half of us got engaged, not to mention all of us. So community engagement is huge. And the number one, y'all know this is what it is. Y'all know because I talk about this all the time. Can you guess? I'm going to pause talking for a second to find out if you can guess what the number one thing is. Oh, okay. You got it. The number one thing is voting. Voting. I started this video off talking about the presidential election. Vote, people. There are too many people talking about not voting. Vote, exercise your right to vote in the local, state, and national elections. Research your candidates and make informed decisions, right? Vote. I know who I'm voting for president. Listen, it's a lot going on. But in no way am I going to not vote against Donald Trump. You could put Bluey on the ballot. It could be Donald Trump and Bluey. I'm voting for Bluey. It could be, I got on the Marvel shirt right now. It could be Donald Trump and Magneto. And I'm human. And we know how Magneto feel about humans. I'm voting for Magneto. Is you crazy? Because at least with Magneto, I can hook up with Charles Xavier and Charles do that power and then, constrain him. I'm not voting for Donald Trump. And I'm also not going to not vote at all because I have issues with Joe Biden. No. Baby boy, baby girl, mama, papa, tia. I'm voting for Joe Biden. Too much is at risk. Too much progress has been made and not enough progress has been made in this country. Too much is at risk. I'm voting for Joe Biden, period. State and local elections, get involved in those as well, right? Because I live in Texas. I love Texas. H-Time, Houston, Texas, to be particular. I love Texas. I love Houston. It's great. Now, the property taxes and the property, how much y'all trying to sell these houses for, baby, that's not the Houston, Texas I know. I don't know what's going on. I guess we still in inflation and whatnot from COVID, but I'm going on a tangent again, but the price ain't pricing like it's supposed to price. Baby, you used to be able to get a mansion for $300,000 down here. $300,000 now is getting you a shack. It's giving very much California, okay? That's what we used to be able to get just 5 years ago. And it was a common thing. It wasn't like a new thing. But now, I don't know if everybody found out about Houston, found out about Texas, found out about Austin and Dallas, and now y'all are moving here with y'all high dollar jobs, and they selling y'all these houses that's really not what they should be. Anyway, okay. I'm sorry, vote on your local and state elections. Let me get back to the point. Vote on your local and state elections, okay? It's critical as well, right? State, who is making state laws? That's important. So every state has a Congress as well. They have a state Senate, they have a state House. It's important to vote for those people, know who's running in your state houses. That is as well. It's like a mini federal government. Your house and your state house and your state Senate craft laws. They send it to your governor. Your governor signs it or vetoes it. But if they sign it, it becomes law. It's important. Your local level here in Houston, our mayor gets to pick the police chief. That's important. That means I have to go out and vote for the person that is going to overview or be above them, but also pick the person that's going to be in charge of the cops that are policing and enforcing laws. That's important. Not just for black people, for all people. That's important. So being involved in that way, voting, making sure you know who's running. Do that. Google. I'm pretty sure there are here in Houston. We have the Houston Chronicle that does a great job. It's a local newspaper, website and all the things. They still print out the paper, but they do a great job of keeping the citizenry up to date on who's running and what's what. We have the Texas Tribune here as well, right? So there are local newspapers, credible local newspapers that will keep you up to date. I'm pretty sure they have website type versions. You can always go to ballottopia.com and find out who's running in your area for whatever position. So then you can research those people and vote for them. But the vote is the most, I think I've heard Reverend Al Sharpton say this, the vote is the most powerful, non-violent protest we can do. So vote. It's 2024, people. It's 2024 and it's not a game. It's time to get involved. So I hope those steps, again, practical, some may have some overlap, but I hope that gives you a start on where you can go. And if you're already a person that votes, then do something else on the list. Don't feel pressured that you got to do all of them because there's a lot of work to do. Do 3. For sure, vote. If nothing else, vote. But, do 3. So that's my spiel. That's my thing. That's it. I've enjoyed my time here with y'all cackling and such. And I'm excited. I hope to bring you more podcasts. Hope to bring you more vlogs if you're watching it, or more video vlogs, whatever they call it. Once a week, maybe more, but once a week right now. Let's start off slow. Let's not get too rowdy. But yeah, get involved, people, because it's needed and because your vote matters. And they're going to get your tax dollars anyway. So you might as well be involved. Okay?